WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thank you for joining us at 10 tonight. Back to school on the brink. For a 16th straight day, the U.S. death toll reaches an average of 1,000 deaths as far as the coronavirus goes. One of the country's biggest school systems goes virtual, and for some, classes just starting and students already having to quarantine. One of those states, Mississippi. Meg Oliver reports.
No two school districts in New Jersey are alike.
I'm Meg Oliver in New Jersey. Today, in a major reversal, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy will no longer require school districts to offer in-person learning.
If a school district does not feel at this point that they are not prepared to open with the health and safety protocols, we'll work with them.
The decision to allow districts to offer remote-only learning comes after more than 400 teachers filed for medical exemptions in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
How will you keep the mask on a little 6-year-old?
First grade teacher Marie Titchener applied for a medical exemption because her husband is immunocompromised.
What do I do when a child cries or needs their shoe tied? How do I respond and say, I can't help you, I can't comfort you because we have to be 6 foot apart?
Nationwide, schools are in turmoil. In southern Mississippi, almost 100 students were sent home this week after coming into contact with a teacher exhibiting COVID-19 symptoms. Back in New Jersey, the state's biggest teachers union is pressuring the governor on remote learning.
Any chance at the last second you would order a statewide all remote learning plan?
You just can't take off the table that this thing is going to rear its head, and we have to be prepared for that as we were in March.
I think superintendents are extremely concerned they're wasting their time developing these hybrid models.
Yeah, no, they're not wasting their time.
Meg Oliver, CBS News, Montclair, New Jersey.
Here's a look at today's COVID-19 numbers in Mississippi. The number of new coronavirus cases climbing yet again to over 1,000. The Mississippi State Department of Health reporting 1,081 new coronavirus cases and 45 deaths. 17 deaths reported are from death certificates from July 26th to August 6th. There's not any new long-term care facility outbreaks being reported today. That's a little bit of good news. That number still staying at 179. So far, 69,374 Mississippians have tested positive for the coronavirus. Area colleges and universities will start classes as soon as Monday, but getting campus ready for students is a whole lot different and more challenging. Our Cash Matlock visits the Mississippi University for Women to see what they're doing to prepare for a safe return.
A typical day for Jason Trufant starts at 5 a.m. His official title is Director of Athletics for the W. Lately, he's known as the COVID Response Coordinator, a title he takes with pride.
Our first priority is your health and safety, and that hasn't changed from the way it used to be prior to COVID. That's always been the focus.
One of Trufant's many duties include ordering cleaning supplies for each building on campus.
The supplies are ordered daily, so we'll wake up one day and we'll get to campus and we'll say, well, we're going to need more of this. For example, on Monday we added 150 spray bottles and 50 gallons of additional cleaner.
And it's not just your regular old cleaner. The W uses special electrostatic cleaning solution. That's a fancy way of saying that the mist covers a wider range and doesn't have to be wiped down.
You'll have chairs that are 6 feet apart. Our instructors are 10 feet from the first student. You'll see traffic flow patterns that have been installed over the last 3 weeks. Hand sanitizer stations that have been installed. Pylons of hand sanitizer, sanitizing wipes. All the things that the campus is getting prepared for classes to start on Monday.
And Trufant doesn't do all this alone.
We have a incident response team, we have a COVID response team, we have our entire ABM cleaning staff involved in this.
Trufant says the pandemic may end, but some of the W's new guidelines are here to stay.
We know that down the road things are going to change as they change by the minute, and we're prepared to deal with those changes and adjust.
That was our Cash Matlock reporting. Trufant says there's no way to put a number on just how much the school will spend on COVID-19 response, but so far they've gotten about $1 million from the state. The economic shutdown earlier this year over COVID-19 has had a big impact on the furniture industry, and that could mean a busy Tupelo furniture market. The 2020 summer market officially opens tomorrow, but vendors and buyers are already doing business at the complex. It's the first furniture market nationwide since COVID-19, and there are some differences. Masks are required, hand sanitizing stations are readily available, and there are no big social events. However, those in the furniture industry are looking forward to the Tupelo market.
They're hungry for good. Retail's been good. The furniture business has been good, and they're hungry, so they'll be right in business, and it should be a good order right in market.
The furniture market is a great time to engage your retail partners. We depend upon these markets to get new ideas, to show the retail partners our new introductions. It's really a time for us to collaborate and bring us together to benefit our businesses on both sides.
And there's Allie Martin getting comfortable there on the bed. All right, the Tupelo market runs through Sunday. It will be followed later this month by the Las Vegas market, and then the High Point, North Carolina market is set for October.
Sleeping on the job. Don't tell the boss about that. Hey, it's feast or famine today in terms of some rainfall. Monroe County, Lamar County, zero, zilch. No rain anywhere to be found. Some folks in the Golden Triangle, a little bit of rainfall, but really Winston County was the winner today. Nearly an inch of rainfall down in Louisville today. Now, most of that activity has exited out of the region right now. There's just a little bit of drizzle around. Really not a whole lot going on. You see those storms moving their way into central Alabama. Now, we are watching some development potential back off to the south and west. We've had some storms trying to fire right there along the Mississippi River, just to the north and west of Jackson and Yazoo City. That could bring us the chance for some more showers and storms after midnight tonight. And then once again tomorrow, we'll be tracking some showers and storms across the area. I'll have more details on exactly when we're expecting the rain coming up in just a bit. Scott?
All right, Trevor, thanks so much. A teenager wanted for serious crimes all the way in Pennsylvania is arrested right here in Lowndes County. U.S. Marshals and Lowndes County deputies arrested 17-year-old Mason Galbraith Tuesday afternoon. Galbraith was wanted in Erie, Pennsylvania for 2 counts of attempted murder and 6 counts of aggravated assault. Law enforcement, they got a tip that Galbraith might be here in the area. He was arrested after being spotted at a business here in Columbus. Lee County investigators say that a child caretaker they were searching for after a toddler tested positive for methamphetamine has been arrested. 47-year-old Paul Leathers and 35-year-old Cassie Neely reportedly took care of the child. Neely was arrested on the 4th of this month, but it took investigators quite some time to find Leathers. This investigation, it all started after deputies in Lee County got a tip that a 3-year-old tested positive for amphetamines and meth. Investigators say all the children were taken away from that Plantersville home. Investigators say that both Neely and Leathers had a lengthy criminal history. Inspections on the Old Tom Bigby pedestrian bridge here in Columbus, they're set to begin tomorrow. The walkway, it was damaged, you may remember this, back in February. This was after, this year rather, it was after a fully loaded barge carrying limestone struck 2 of the bridge's support structures. The east support pier took on most of that damage. It was moved 7 inches from its original placement. In a press conference today, City Engineer Kevin Stafford says it'll be months before that bridge is fixed.
The first step is to find out underwater what we see, what was caused there. And then, of course, we'll do the above water inspection as well. We'll come up with a scope of what all damage was done, how to repair it, put a cost to it, and then we can go back to all the parties that are involved right now and figure out the best way, plan of action forward to get it funded and of course, get it repaired so we can open it back up.
Stafford says it'll be anywhere from 30 to 60 days before a final report can be put together. And the contractor selected that bridge was converted to pedestrian-only, to a pedestrian-only walkway, that is, in 2013. And Trevor, a lot of people taking pictures on that bridge, so I know a lot of folks are probably excited to get it back open. Yeah. All right, tonight our forecast, a bit of a special one.
A somber one for sure. Our lead director, Shane, unfortunately lost his cat today. This is Aries, 15 years with Shane. And if you know Shane, you know how close they were. There is Aries crossing the Rainbow Bridge today, sending lots of love out to Shane. Here's your forecast for the next 3 days, or for tomorrow, I should say. Chance of storms through the day and more storms coming up. I've got that full forecast right after the break.
Your WCBI First Alert Accuweather Forecast with meteorologist Trevor Burchett.
Some pretty heavy showers and storms out there earlier today. As a matter of fact, a severe thunderstorm came through Louisville, Winston County into Wcbi County. That has now exited the area, and as a matter of fact, most of us are dry in this 10 o'clock hour. There are still some heavier showers and storms along I-65 in Alabama, but here locally, not a whole lot going on, maybe a little light drizzle, but really a quiet night as we get past the 10 o'clock hour. Here's a live view from downtown Columbus, looking off to the north and west from the Alpha Insurance Camera Network. As I mentioned, not bad out there. We're mostly clear, and 76 at the Air Force Base, down to 70 in Starkville, where they already got some rain earlier today. We're still in the low 80s in Tupelo, 77 right now in Oxford. Everybody checking in under a mostly clear sky. Now, I mentioned we're dry right now, but I do think after midnight we've got the chance for a few more isolated storms to pop up. Nothing major, but you might hear a little thunder once you get into the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock hour overnight tonight. 73 for the low, pretty mild and muggy with a light wind coming out of the south and the west. Tomorrow, once again, chances for showers and storms, maybe several rounds of showers and storms. But if you don't get caught in a storm, you're going to be hot and humid. 87 in Columbus, 88 in Tupelo, 89 in West Point, and 87 for the high tomorrow in Starkville. Here's what that times out like on future clouds and radar. I think right now, as I mentioned, things are going to be fairly dry. But I mentioned too, we're watching some development back off to the west in the Delta, and that's going to keep trying to get its act together here overnight tonight. And as I mentioned, by 2 a.m., 3 a.m., maybe even into 6 a.m., just as you're starting to wake up, you might hear just a little bit of thunder out there. Maybe a little bit of a break by 8 or 9 tomorrow morning. And then once again, anytime after lunchtime through the evening, we'll be watching the potential for some pretty heavy showers and storms. Some of these could produce some gusty winds and small hail, just like we saw today in Louisville. We'll just have to watch where those decide to pop up tomorrow. That continues through the day tomorrow. We'll leave a rain chance in through about 6 or 7 o'clock. But of course, all of this rain and storm activity, courtesy of this stationary front that is just to our north. It's a cold front that's not moving anywhere. And anytime that sets up right there, we have low pressure after low pressure come down the line, kind of like a train track of low pressure systems. And that brings in several rounds of showers and storms. So that's what's been happening for the last several days. That's going to continue through the day on Friday. But what happens is by the weekend, this thing gets a little bit more juice into it, a little more momentum, and it actually starts to clear the area through the weekend. So what that means is drier weather coming up, also cooler weather and lower humidity. So hey, 3 check marks there. We just got to get past the next several days. Take a look at this comfort index here. We're staying humid through the weekend at least, but after that, Monday through Wednesday, we are feeling pretty comfortable. It's still going to be hot, highs in the 80s, but the humidity being a little bit lower going to make all the difference. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Again, tomorrow, Friday, keep the umbrella handy, much like we've seen for the last several days. Chances of storms will be there. Highs in the 80s. We warm up to the 90s for the weekend, and again, we leave in the chance for some showers and storms. Monday, Tuesday, maybe a storm. I think most of us are starting to dry out and a little bit cooler. We're talking about the upper 80s for next Wednesday, much drier with lower humidity. Overnight lows right now in the low to mid 70s, but could dip down into the 60s through next week.
Well, businesses have been impacted state and nationwide by the coronavirus, but there's one industry that you may not think about that's actually seeing business boom. Our Savannah Gato explains why those who are making signs are cashing in.
Sign businesses could be described in 2 words: busy and different.
A lot of our big projects have slowed down, but our smaller projects, as far as like curbside parking and graduation signs and stuff like that, we've been doing a lot of that for the city, the county, and all the schools and hospitals and stuff like that.
Owner of Gentry Signs, Dylan Bridge, says they create signs of all sizes and for anyone looking to get creative. Even signs with helpful information reminding people to mask up and practice good hygiene.
A lot of businesses have been slow as far as getting their own signage because of the coronavirus, so we've been doing a lot of restaurants and stuff have had warnings and, you know, please wear a mask and stuff like that.
Other businesses might be slowing down, but co-owner of One of a Kind says they've seen an uptick in work.
I've done there's one right there, that graduation sign. We've done a bunch of those that are just, one sign that's got a photograph.
Bridge feels it's the best way of communication from a distance, especially when operating outside.
I mean, it's either that or you have to have someone in the parking lot monitoring, and it's visual communication seems to help with that kind of right now.
We've been really blessed. I mean, this business takes care of 3 households, so I mean, without it, we're all looking for a job, so we're very lucky.
Coming up next, we're talking about road trips and how to make sure you've prepped your food snacks properly. Health Talk is right after the break.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. Summertime and summer travel. Food is always involved. We talk about how to handle food safely while on that road trip in tonight's Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Jessica Weller, the Morrison Director of Food and Nutrition Services at Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle. Tonight I want to talk to you about how to safely handle food while on the road. Whether it's a quick trip for a picnic in the park, tailgating at your favorite stadium, or a cross-country road trip, the road to food safety will be bumpy or smooth depending on the precautions taken when handling meals as we travel. These simple, common-sense food safety rules can help keep you safe while traveling and save a road trip from disaster. Plan ahead. If you're traveling with perishable food, place it in a cooler with ice or freezer packs. Bring a separate cooler for drinks so the food cooler is not opened frequently. Pack safely. Pack perishable foods directly from the refrigerator or freezer into the cooler. Meat and poultry may be packed while still frozen so it stays colder longer. Be sure to keep raw meat and poultry wrapped separately from cooked foods or foods meant to be eaten raw, such as fruits. When outdoors, keep the cooler in a shady spot and covered with a light-colored blanket or tarp to reflect heat. If you buy food on the road, hot takeout foods from restaurants and drive-thrus should be consumed within 2 hours of purchase. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist when we will discuss packing safe school lunches and snacks.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
The high school football tour continues on with 4A. Catch the preview with the new Albany Bulldogs. That's coming up next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb.
The high school football tour continues in 4A. Our next stop checks in with a stacked New Albany team. The Bulldogs are stop number 52 on the high school football tour.
WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour is brought to you by Itawamba Community College, Cannon Ford of Starkville, Monroe County Farm Bureau, Max South Broadband, and the Bank of Vernon.
The New Albany Bulldogs have been on the rise since head coach Cody Stubblefield's arrival in 2018. New Albany had its first pair of back-to-back winning seasons in 6 years after finishing 8-4 in 2019. As far as the Bulldogs are concerned, that's only the beginning of how successful the team plans to be.
Program, you take steps. Previously, getting to the playoffs was a big deal. When we got to the playoffs, then we wanted to win a game and make it to the second round. Now that evolution is gone to the next step, where they want to make a run for a state championship and just be as successful as possible.
Our number one goal is to not lose a game, honestly, and that's just my personal goal, and I hope everybody else is on the team, and we're going to hope every single game we go in ready to play and hopefully make a run for the state championship.
This is a team we hadn't had in about 10 years, since 2011. I feel like we can go as far as state championship, but we got to make it best as we can.
With those high expectations comes the talent to match. Although the Bulldogs must replace former starting quarterback Charlie Lott, New Albany returns a lot of junior and senior players. Amongst them is running back C.J. Hill, who in his sophomore season rushed for over 1,500 yards and scored 20 touchdowns. The Bulldogs also add former Myrtle running back A.I. Nugent. In 2019, Nugent picked up over 1,900 yards and 29 touchdowns on the ground. Nugent says he plans to be even better this season.
I go 110%. Like, I ain't gonna lie, the Myrtle I'm about 95, but 120 here.
We're gonna have about 7 or 8 seniors on both sides of the ball. With those seniors are some juniors and a couple sophomores sprinkled in that we believe can contribute and play and make us be successful. I think they're all passionate about working hard and trying to get to the next step. So, it's excited to see what they are going to be able to do and what comes out of it.
I feel like the teammates trust me. It's always have good trust. And when somebody trusts you, you feel like you can go harder at it because they trust in you and they see you do something good. Everybody go 110%.
While a run for the 4A state title might be on all the Bulldogs' minds, Stubblefield says taking the season week by week and game by game will be most important.
As successful as possible. You know, we're going to take it game by game, and every time we're going to roll in and make sure we've studied and prepared for that opponent. We want to make sure we're 1-0 after the first game and 1-1 the rest every week after that. So we're going to go into every game thinking we can have an opportunity and a way to win it.
All in all, New Albany is just excited for the opportunity to get back out on the field.
The expectation is a little bit higher than it has been in the past. We want to live up to that. We want these guys to get to play, to get to live up to that expectation, and just to battle it out all year.
New Albany gets the season started at Pontotoc on September 4th. With the Bulldogs on the high school football tour, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports.
WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour with New Albany High School is brought to you by BNA Bank.
More for you when we come back.
Few showers and storms are going to remain possible here for the next several days. The good news is cold front passes through for the weekend. That dries us out and cools us down here by the middle of next week. So a little bit of good news there.
Hey, just in time for the weekend.
Well,
or next week.
Next week,
hey,
yeah.
we'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Trevor. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.